Okay, so in the last video, we implemented edit to do functionality, and now we're going to implement marking a to do as complete. So this basically in my head, what I'm thinking is that we're going to just double click on the to do to mark it finished. So I'm going to go ahead and start writing a test. That means it's going to be sitting sort of next to the same place as the edit and delete buttons. So we're going to come in here, it can be, it will say to do done status be toggled via double click. Okay, so with this now, most of this is pretty much the same. I'm just going to copy it out because it's faster than typing it. And in here, so we are going to need it to do, it starts out as false, that's fine. Edit to do is going to become a new function. We're going to call this one toggle to do, which is very, very similar in reality. But we can leverage a little bit of our edit function. And here, we can't click on a button. We need to click on the user interface itself, which does not actually exist yet. So here, I'm just going to change this to be UI. And this is not going to be a click like this. We have to use double click. So I'm going to say here, it's going to be user event dot double click. Feed it the UI. And this, we need to create a new one here. It's going to be something like, I don't know, to do task or to do label, say. Okay. Now in here, we are going to expect that our toggle got called. So expect that toggle to do to have been called times once. Expect toggle to do to have been called with the actual to do that we gave it here. Because the toggle to do function will be responsible for flipping it around. Okay, so our test should fail, and it does, which is great. And the first thing is that the label is missing. So we're going to go in there, add a label to our to do component here. And right now, this is the thing that shows it. So here I'm going to say data test ID equals label. That should pass that test. Excuse me, now we are missing the number of calls. So we're going to have another function coming out of here. So here we're going to import toggle to do from our provider. And then we're going to call it in here. So in here, we're going to say on double click, we're going to call toggle to do with the actual to do. Now this is still going to fail because we haven't implemented it yet. So let's go into the provider. And in the provider, we need to add another test here. It provides a toggle to do function. Here we're going to have a toggle to do. And of course, these are all going to be toggle. Right. This one's going to fail as well. So we'll pass this test first. If I go here and filter it only for to do provider. Okay, now we can go into the provider, create our function. So this is going to be toggle to do. It's going to be the same story as before. We're going to allow ourselves inject using dependency injection. This is values dot do, otherwise do, and toggle to do is not defined. So here we're going to make it function toggle to do, takes in a to do, and it's going to say to do dot done equals not to do dot done. So we're going to flip it, and then we're just going to edit the to do with this one. Okay. So that way we can sort of leverage what we already have, and hopefully that passes our tests. Toggle to do is not defined. Why not? Should be. At this point, it should be defined, I think. Oh, that's because I didn't mock it, maybe? No. Why is it not defined? Could this be because we're inside the Docker container? I don't think so. Provider. Oh, it's because I copied and pasted and wasn't careful. That's the reason. Yeah, always be careful when you're copying and pasting. Okay, so actually with that, that might be enough to finish the whole thing. Let's see if this one does. Yeah, looks good. So here I'm gonna run it. All the tests are passing. Looks good. So, but we have a slightly different issue here because we have no way to show what this is gonna be. So I'm going to go ahead and add a class to this, but I'm not going to test for it. And I'm just going to say, we'll do this in the next video when we do the styling. So class name is going to equal to if we have to do dot done. We're going to add a class of done. Otherwise, we're going to just leave it empty. That should not affect anything in our classes. We have to handle the case when to do is not defined. And that should do it. So I'm going to go ahead and commit this. So we're going to add everything, and I'm going to say feature toggle done. This is going to be implement save it. And that concludes this video.